I will showcase you an AI automation system that is basically a lead generation system, but it's built in a very smart way to achieve its purpose. And I'm very proud of how I built it. This video will be a longer one because I will first explain you the purpose of the system and the main steps of the process. Then I will show you the tools and APS that I used. Then I will show you the total cost of running this system, and then I will run the flow and analyze the process step by step and explain it to you. You will see that if it would be for humans to analyze hundreds of companies in this manner, to research if they fit to a target profile, then searching for executives, analyze the executives, and decide which one is the best to be contacted, then find the executive's valid work email. It would take probably weeks for an entire team of people. This system does all this within hours on a daily basis. An important factor was to build this system as least costly as possible when it comes to running it, because there are many APIs and tools out there which I could have used, which can get expensive very fast for large data, like in this case. So I had to do a lot of research to find APIs and tools and ways to run the system as cheap as possible. So basically, the purpose of the system is to find companies that are currently looking to hire people in order to contact them to sell them an AI recruiting system. So the main steps are, first, scrape LinkedIn and find jobs posted in the last 24 hours by companies in the United States. Then analyze all these companies and see if they are a good fit for the company profile that we are looking for. Basically, we address small and medium businesses, but I will get into more details later. Then we are looking for executives within these companies, and then from the list of executives, we are picking the best fit that have the resources and decision ability to invest in such a system. Finally, gather a list of executives to be contacted and send them a cold email. Now, I want to show you the tools and APIs that I've used. I used an Apify actor to scrape LinkedIn jobs. If you don't know what Apify is, how it works, what are the actors, how to run them, you can find plenty of information on YouTube and other sources online. So I'm not going through this. I will just assume that you know what Apify is and how to use it. The point is that when you create an account, you receive some free credits which you can use, so you can have a good free start with a new account. For this specific scraper, I paid around 70 cents for run 1,000 results, which is also great. You pay less than $1 for 1,000 possible companies that you can outreach. Then I use Bright Data. Bright Data, it's a service that scrapes pretty much anything on the web. You can scrape, you can just search on Google, you can search on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. And I'm using Bright Data because they have a free trial with some credits, which is more than enough because on Bright Data, you pay more or less around $1 per 1,000 searches or API calls. And they also have an MCP server, which is really cool and useful. Then I use a free email verifier service. I found only 2 free services like this available. Most of the email verifier services are premium, and you have a few credits as a free trial, but you pay around $8 per 1,000 verified emails. And this service that I use, it's completely free, and they have an API endpoint, easy to use. But you need to create an account and get an API key. So this is all for the tools. There are just a few, and they're very cheap. Now, in regards of the cost of running the system, you will see after I will run the system how much it will cost to run the process or the flow for one company. And then you can, of course, make a calculation of how much it will cost for 100 or 1,000 companies. So I'm going to show you the current credit for Bright Data. As you will see, I received both a trial credit and an extra balance credit. I consumed so far $1.56. So you'll see the difference at the end. Also, as you've seen in other videos, in 99% of the cases, I'm using DeepSeek as the LLM or the brain for the AI agents. Because from my testing in about 70% of the use cases, or even more, DeepSeek beats GPT, Claude, and the others. So my favorites are DeepSeek and Claude, but most of the times DeepSeek is better than Claude, and it's also the cheapest, I think. Here are my costs so far on DeepSeek platform. So you can see at the end, what is the difference in cost? Now let's go through the process and analyze it step by step. So first step is that I'm using this Apify scraper to search for jobs posted on LinkedIn with the keyword job because I needed a general term in order to get a comprehensive list of all jobs posted in the last 24 hours. The location is United States because I want companies from the United States only and the jobs posted in the last 24 hours. After I ran the actor, I got 1,000 results, which I exported them as CSV with the columns that were of interest to me. Then this CSV I imported in a Google Sheet document. I'm using this intermediary step of Google Sheet for a few reasons. First of all, I wanted to be able to add other columns that will be needed and because it's easy to remove duplicates. So for example, from 1,000 scraped jobs, because many companies can post several jobs, after cleaning up the document and removing the duplicates based on the company name, I ended up with 500 and something. So it's easy to just select everything and then go to Data, Data Cleanup, remove duplicates. Data has a header row, select company name, and then remove duplicates. And this will remove all the duplicates. After cleaning this document, I can directly execute the workflow. Now let's run it. So first step of the process is to read the Google Sheet document and return all the companies that have no priority column filled in, meaning they were not analyzed. The workflow have a total of 4 AI agents. Basically, you can see there are 309 items returned. I put a limit node here to process it in batch of maybe 50 or 100 items, just not run continuously for a long time for hundreds and hundreds of entries. So I wanted to split it in batch, and for this testing, I limited to 1. Now I have this loop over items to loop over each item in the set. The first agent have to analyze the company and the position they want to fill in. So as you can see, the user prompt, it's just a very short prompt. It says to analyze the given data. The system prompt is, of course, the important one. So you can see the agent have the role in the goal input data. It's information about the job and the company and the analysis framework, which is very important. We're looking only for the United States companies, size filter, because we are looking for small and medium businesses and not big enterprise businesses. The enterprise businesses, obviously they have the money and the resources, so they already invested in AI automations, in AI systems. They won't need our system. Also analyze the sector or industry. It has access to a tool that connects to Bright Data MCP server to perform web search. At the end, I asked for a specific output format, but one thing that I want to mention, so for this kind of complex analysis that the AI agents needs to produce, the prompt is very, very important. So prompt engineering has a big impact on the success rate of the output. Now, one small trick that I use most of the times that is very important and sometimes makes a big difference in the output format. Even if you don't actually need this in the output, add something like reasoning for your choice, because this puts the agent into the situation to actually deeply think about it, reason it, and explain it to you why it made the choice. And because of that, actually that choice of the recommendation or whatever decision is, it's much more accurate. You're going to see that I use this for the other agents too. And the result of this agent, as you can see, is size assessment, final recommendation, reasoning for recommendation. The recommendations have 3 possible values: high priority, medium priority, or low priority. We're going to analyze further and contact only the high priority ones. This is the MCP client tool connected to Bright Data. Next, we have an if tool to check if the company is high priority, in which case we'll proceed next in the flow. Otherwise, we go to the next company in the loop. Let's see the second AI agent. This agent has the purpose to find executives. It has Bright Data Tool, again, which is the MCP client, which have access to 20 and something tools that MCP server from the Bright Data offers. So the prompt user message is again short. It has to find executives for the given company. The system prompt specifies the role, the core process, how to find executives, how to filter them, how to rank them, the tools it has. You can pause the video to read the entire prompt if you want. I added also a think tool. This think tool helps the agent to take a break or a pause and think about the situation, the task, or what it found out when it feels like. This tool helps because this AI agent have a more difficult task. It has to do more research, more steps, and think about more stuff. Now let's see the results of this agent. So it retrieved a list of executives with name, role, location, priority reason for each. Now let's see the steps that it took. So it searched Google for executive LinkedIn profiles. Then it scraped a list of LinkedIn profiles that it found. Then it used the Think tool to decide how to proceed next. Then it searched for the company web domain to be used for email addresses. Then it thought again and compiled the final list that you saw before. I have another if here. Sometimes it's possible that the previous agent can't find any executive, in which case this analysis stops and goes back to another company in the loop. This third agent have the purpose to find the best executive to contact. The user prompt has the data to be analyzed. And the system prompt is comprehensive, describing the analysis process, the high priority positions, how to retrieve an executive's email when the process ends, etc. The email retriever tool, it's actually another workflow that is called, which I will show you at the end. The result, as you can see, it's the CEO of this company with its email, LinkedIn page, and again, the reason for choosing it, which I specifically asked again to be added. Let's go a little bit through the steps it took. So it quickly decided that the CEO is best executive. Then it used the tool to find its email address. Let's go to the email retrieving agent. It's a simple agent with one tool, short user prompt, long system prompt again. So for a given full name and a company domain, it has to generate possible email addresses and test their validity with the tool. Here are some detailed instructions how to generate a list of possible email addresses based on the first and last name. When a valid email is found, it will be returned immediately. This time it was very easy and got it from the first time because the most common is first name dot last name. But there are cases when it has to try 15 to 20 times until it finds one. I would say 1 out of 10 times it happens that it doesn't find the email. And for this cases, B2B discovery tools can be used, like Zoom Info or others, but they can be quite expensive. And as I said at the beginning, I wanted the system to be inexpensive. The tool that it has available, it's an HTTP request tool that connects to that free email verifier service. Basically, this is the end of the workflow for a company in the list. There is one more trick that I had to use in N8N, and I'll show you quickly. The thing is that the loop node theoretically should trigger the done output only once when the entire loop is finished. And it's triggered once, but for all the hundreds of items. So the final email that is sent when the flow is finished would have been sent hundreds of times. So I had to add a hack. The done output is going into a merge tool that is waiting for all inputs to arrive. The other input is just a mock set node that is triggered at the beginning of the flow. And when all items from the loop node are received, the merge tool outputs only one item and the Gmail node is triggered only once. At the end of the workflow, you will have basically a long list of executives to be contacted. You can export the list as CSV and then import the list into a cold emailing service that allows you to bulk import data. For example, Instantly is widely used, but I will not cover this part. Now let's see the cost for this one company analysis. So for DeepSeek, we have 15 cents. And then for Bright Data, 1 cent. So 16 cents per company. So from 1,000 scraped jobs, almost half were duplicate companies. So let's say 500 remain as valid companies. And then from the analyzed companies, I would say that maybe at most 30% in this case are high priority. In other cases, might be different percentage. So that's maybe 150 companies that are good fit for the profile that we are looking for. The entire workflow will run for this 150 companies, which costs around 15 cents for each. But for the rest of 350 companies, the workflow will stop after the first agent, which means the cost is around 25% of the total workflow. So that would be around 4 cents. So the total cost would be around $35 to analyze 500 possible companies on a daily basis. The entire process takes a couple of hours. Now, if you would pay someone to do this research and pay that person $50 per hour, considering it would take forever anyway, you can do the math for yourself.